I know this is a little unorthodox way to start Keys to the Game video, of course, for NFL kickoff for Week 2 Sunday, but look out for Dylan Gabriel. This dude, look out.
The first down has running room and more. Gabriel down the sideline. Burst of speed at the 20. Cuts it back. Dylan Gabriel, touchdown.
Okay, so I know this is a weird way to start the video, but this might be the craziest way to start a Saturday. Let's go. Hit that intro. And with that, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the NFL. Like, subscribe. Hope you guys enjoy. We got Week 2 NFL Sunday. Keys to the Game preview. It's Week 2. I'll put it that way. It's not Week 1 anymore. Big week, obviously. A lot of teams are playing. I wouldn't say it's the craziest Sunday in terms of headliner games, but there are some big games. Mainly a couple 1 o'clock games. The main game at 4:25 we'll get to later. But yeah, let's get right into it. And starting out, let's get to the Dolphins and Ravens game. It's 1 o'clock on CBS. Of course, very marquee game. Both games 1 o'clock. It's on CBS again. 1 o'clock on CBS. Both teams are 1-0. Who's calling this game? Where is it? Kevin Harlan, Trent Green, Melanie Collins are calling this game. It should be a very good one. I think, yeah, you'll really like it. But let's get right to the team's starting lineups. Okay, for the Dolphins, they've got Tua starting at quarterback. Obviously, Teddy Bridgewater is his backup. Chase Edmonds, Raheem Mostert, Myles Gaskin are in the backfield. Salvon Ahmed is questionable. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Cedric Wilson Jr. is questionable. Hunter Long is out. Same thing with Keithan Carter at tight end. Durham Smythe and Mike Gesicki also there. Durham Smythe's their starter. Okay. Al Gignol, the fullback, Terron Armstead is questionable. John Levitt is on the IR, same with Austin Jackson. Liam Eichenberg, Connor Williams, Robert Hunt, Greg Little on that offensive line. Defensively, Christian Wilkins is questionable. Zach Sealer, John Jenkins behind them. Those guys along with Emmanuel Ogbah, Raekwon Davis. Edge rushers are Jalen Phillips, Melvin Ingram, Andrew Van Ginkel, and of course Keon Cross and Trey Flowers are also there as well. Kyle Munson is on IR up the middle with Landon Roberts and Jerome Baker there as well. Xavier Howard, Nick Needham, Noah Benogany, and Kean Crossan are also there. Kind of already said his name. Brandon Jones, Javon Holland at the safety position. Byron Jones is out another week. Trill Williams is on the IR. Jason Sanders, Thomas Worcester, air kicker and punter. Punter returner is Tyreek Hill. Kicker returner is Raheem Mostert. And your long snapper is Blake Ferguson. Let's get right to the Ravens lineup now. And before we get into the Bills starting lineup, of course, Gabe Davis is questionable. We'll get to that later. But, yeah, the Bills and Titans are meeting for the 5th straight year. That's pretty cool, along with the Colts. Like Pittman being out. We'll get to that later. But, yeah, Lamar Jackson obviously starting for the Ravens. J.K. Dobbins is questionable. Kenyon Drake, Mike Davis, Justice Hill also there. James Roche, doubtful. He actually had a pretty good game last week. I'm not even kidding. He actually had a pretty good game. Slade Bolden's on IR. Wasn't he like a 7th-round pick? Or was he no, he actually was UDFA. Wait, where was he from? Alabama, whatever. Okay. Sean Bateman, Devin Duvernay, Demarcus Robinson also there. Mark Andrews, tight end, along with Isaiah Likely. Josh Oliver and Nick Boyle. Patrick Ricard is questionable. Ryan Stanley's doubtful. Ben Powers, Tyler Linderbaum, Kevin Zeitler, and Morgan Moses also in that offensive line. Juwan James out for the season again with us. I think it's Achilles tear. Justin Madubuike, Michael Pierce, Calais Campbell on the defensive line. Travis Jones is questionable. Tyus Bowser is out. But Adafe Awoy, Justin Houston also there. Steven Means is there. David Ojabo was out for the 2nd straight game of the season. Of course, still recovering from that. Achilles tear that happened during the draft process. Vince Beagle, Dalen Hayes are also on IR. Josh Bynes, Patrick Queen at that those interior guys. Marcus Peters and Marlon Humphrey are both questionable. Brandon Stevens is questionable as well. Chuck Clark, Marcus Peters, Marcus Williams, Kyle Hamilton in that secondary. At safety, kicker, special teams, you get to Justin Tucker is your kicker. Punter's Jordan Stout. And your returner is Devin Duvernay. James Prochet, of course, doubtful. And Nick Moore is your long snapper. Let's get right to the keys of the game. Okay, for this Dolphins offense, I want the RPO the Ravens to start the game. They're gonna have to do that. Of course, they have quicker receivers, they're a faster team than they are. Show that you can do that and like actually make them come up. And big plays equals big wins. I want to them take some shots. They didn't do a lot of that last week. They had a couple big plays. It's one of the reasons they won. At least attempt to run the football. I mean, they got to do it. They probably won't, but like they try. Then Tua has to deliver under pressure, literally. Like under pressure, literally. Like he's gonna get pressured. He's got to deliver there. Dolphins defense pressure on 70% of Lamar's dropbacks, that's just simply, like, if they do that, they probably should win. Jerome Baker has to be spy on Lamar Jackson on passing downs so he can't escape and stop the run. Just don't let them run the ball. Yeah, just pretty simple. Just don't let them. And no big plays to bring down the momentum of the whole team. And, of course, if that cover zero package works again, then that would be really good. But that's kind of how they won last time. But I do think they're going to have to do a little bit of a couple of different things because Lamar is honestly a better quarterback than he was last year. See what they can do, though. Let's get right to the Ravens keys. Now for this Ravens offense, I want them to run the ball on 35-plus carries. They're going to have to run the ball a lot. I think it actually might work. And so, O-line has slows down the blitz. It just can't. It can't just be schematically. The O-line needs to contribute as well. And, of course, Lamar has to find a way to beat that freaking cover zero package. Honestly, I do think it's obviously not just on him, but if it is him in that way. But then for this Ravens defense, dare the Dolphins to run the football. I mean, dare them. Like, okay, you need to run the football. Like, I don't even care. You have, dare them to run the football. And keep a dime look on any long yard situation. You don't want them taking any big plays. And, of course, with that speed, you want speed on the field for most plays. Especially if it's anything long, you want that speed on the field because that's what they need. Let's get to the next game, though. Okay, yeah, next game, we've got the Jets and Browns preview. It's 1 o'clock, also on CBS, of course. Yeah, you have to take it too. But yeah, the Jets are coming into this game at 0-1, obviously wanting to get a win. We'll get to Joe Flacco in a little bit. But yeah, the Browns, yeah, they're 1-0, coming off a big win. See if they can get to 2-0. Who's calling this game? Spiro Diaz, Jay Phelan. I think that's literally just about it. But yeah, that's cool, I guess. But yeah. Let's get right to the starting lineups. Okay, for the Jets, Zach Wilson is out another week with an arthroscopic. It's an arthroscopic knee surgery. But yeah, he's out another week. Joe Flacco starting again. Mike White, of course, is backup. Michael Carter, Breece Hall, Ty Johnson in that backfield. Brad Spiro's questionable. Rodney Adams is out, but Elijah Moore, Corey Davis, Garrett Wilson, all there. Tyler Conklin is there at tight end. CJ Uzomah is doubtful. That means Lawrence Cager, the receiving specialist tight end, might get some snaps. Nick Bowden is on the IR. George Fant is questionable. But Connor McDermott actually would get us start. Of course, Dwayne Brown, Mekhi Becton, the two projected starting guys, are both on the IR. Laken Tomlinson, Connor McGovern, Elisha Vera Tucker, and Max Mitchell, all across that offensive line as well. But Dwayne Brown, what was his injury? Shoulder? Yeah, he's going to be out a while. He was supposed to replace Mekhi Becton, too. Defensively, though, Carl Lawson, John Franklin Myers is questionable, but you got Bryce Huff and Jermaine Johnson there as well. Benny Curry's on the IR. Solomon Thomas, who actually played pretty well last week. Quentin Williams and Sheldon Rankin's all there. Nate Shepard as well. Quan Alexander, Quincy Williams, C.J. Mosley, all on the linebacking core as well. Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed, Brandon Echols, Michael Carter, Bryce Hall's there as well, but he's awful again. Jordan Whitehead's questionable, and LaMarcus Joyner, Ashton Davis also in that safety room. Greg Jones, kicker Braden Mann, who is questionable, but probably will play. Your punter, returners Braxton Berrios, who is questionable. Thomas Hennessy is your long snapper. Elijah Moore might get some returns if Braxton Berrios cannot play, and of course he's their slot as well. Let's get right to the Browns projected starting line. Okay, for these Browns, at quarterback, first got Jacoby Brissett. Joshua Dobbs is backing him up. Kellen on there as well. Deshaun Watson, of course, 11-game suspension. Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, Dean Johnson, Jerome Ford in that backfield. Mari Cooper, Devon Peoples-Jones, David Bell, and Anthony Schwartz at the receiving core. Jakeem Grant Sr., Isaiah Weston, both on IR. David Njoku, Harrison Bryant, and Jesse James at tight end. Jared Rose Jr., Joe Batonio, Ethan Pokic, Wyatt Teller, Josh Conlon, again questionable. Chris Hubbard, of course, out. Nick Harris out for, I think, the season. Elijah Nakins, and Dawson Dean also on IR as well. Defensively, you got Myles Garrett, Jordan Elliott, Taven Bryan, Jadeveon Clowney, Alex Ray, and Chase Winovich also there. Stephen Weatherly and Chris Odom on the IR. J.O.K., Anthony Walker Jr., and Sione Takitaki on the linebacking court along with Cody Fields. Jordan Kunznek and Jacob Phillips. Denzel Ward, Greg Newsome, A.J. Green, Martin Emerson Jr., and cornerbacks with Grant Delpit and John Johnson, and Rodney Harrison Jr., and Dante Bell, and Richard LeCount III in that safety room along with Greedy Williams on the IR. K.J. York's your punter, kicker, and then Corey Borges is your punter. Demetric Fallon Jr. is your returner, and Charlie Huglet is your long snapper. Let's get right to the keys of the game. Okay, for the Jets offense, I want them to run the ball with both Michael Carter and Breece Hall 10 plus times, get them the ball enough. Joe Flacco, red zone efficiency 70+%. I mean, that just didn't work last week. They got to be able to do it this week. To compensate for depleted run blocking, Elijah Moore and Garrett Wilson need to run better intermediate routes. That's one of the reasons they couldn't get a lot going on offense last week. It's just the fact their defense just did not. Offensively, they just could not. Those guys just could not run and get open on those intermediate runs. They do this week. Who knows? Jets defense, just don't give up 400 rushing yards. I do think they have a good shot at actually containing this Browns offense if they don't give 400 rushing yards. And even then, their run defense has actually been very serviceable over the past couple years. But if they can do that, along with the fact that Jacoby Brissett didn't really look that great passing the football last week, that's probably how they'll win. Let's get right to the Browns keys, though. Okay, for the Browns offense, run the ball for over 200 yards. They do that and no turnovers, and make sure and Jacoby Brissett should take some shots. I mean, loosen up with that run game. They're going to be trying to stack the box, and if they don't turn over the football, Jacoby Brissett takes some calculated risks. They do that. Good job. Browns defense pressure to Flacco 5 sacks. He just doesn't move. It would make sense. Under 30+ rushing yards allowed in the red zone. That was a real killer with them at points last week. They could not stop the Panthers offense in the red zone on those plays. But again, it wasn't really the rushing yard total, but if they can limit the rushing yards in there, because I guarantee they're going to actually play well against the pass in the red zone. They just got to make sure that doesn't happen. And no big plays or run after catch as the Jets offense struggles to sustain drives last week. Yeah, but run after catch plays, because run after catch plays, if those turn into big plays, that's just not good. And no big run plays either, because that's tackling. That's stuff that the Jets can actually manufacture without having a ton of. It's more luck. But if the Browns defense if they don't hurt themselves and they're able to get a lot of pressure on Joe Flacco, they should be able to do what the Ravens did last week. Maybe not as many big plays, but I think they can do exactly that. Let's get to the next game, though. And, yeah, the Colts and Jaguars. Colts, of course, tied last week. They're 0-1. The Jags are 0-1. They lost by 6 points to the Commanders last week. But, yeah, it's 1 o'clock on CBS. The announcers for this one are, where is it? Be nice to know. Where are the announcers? Yeah, Tom McCarthy, Tiki Barber. I think that's literally it. But yeah, those are your announcers for this game. Tom McCarthy, of course, called the Colts game last week. Very good game he called. And of course, Tiki Barber, not the worst analyst. Maybe not the greatest image right now, but yeah, he's not that bad of an analyst. But yeah, that's what you get for this game. I actually like it. I think it should be a pretty competitive game. Of course, the Colts are looking to snap that streak. They've lost, 7 straight games there? They haven't won since 2014 in Jacksonville, so keep that in mind. But yeah, let's go right to the Colts' projected starting lineup. And for the Colts, Matt Ryan at quarterback. Obviously, Nick Foles is his backup along with Sam Ehlinger, who knows? Jonathan Taylor and Nyheim Hines in the backfield along with Michael Pittman, who is out. He's not playing. That means Paris Campbell, Ashley Dillon, Michael Strachan, and Desmond Patton need to step up. Even Kiki Kuti. Oh, it's all hands on deck because Alec Pierce, he's their second best receiver. Yeah, you can say Paris Campbell, whatever. Paris Campbell can't stay on the field. That's just my opinion on him right now. Mo Cox, tight end, he'll have to have a big game along with Kylan Granderson, who isn't really a pass catcher. Andrew Ogletree's on the IR. Cardinal O'Donnell on this offensive line is as well. Wesley French and Will Fries, the French Fries, are as the backups. Bernard Raymond, Dennis Kelly also there as well. Matt Pryor, Quentin Nelson, Ryan Kelly, Danny Pinter, and Brandon Smith round out that offensive line. Defensively, got Quiddy Pate, DeForest Buckner, question about that means Brogan Kohler or Eric Johnson wants to step up. Beyond Grover Stewart, Jan Gakwe, Dale Odiingbo, Ben Benogo, and Tyquan Lewis round out that edge rushing group. Bobby Okereke, Eater Speed will have to step up again, and because Shaquille Leonard is out another week, Zaire Franklin also a sub linebacker. Kenny Moore, the second is questionable. They're obviously the best slot in the NFL. Brandon Faison, Isaiah Rodgers, Stephon Gilmore also there as well. Nick Cross, Julian Blackman, Ryan McCobb, Rodney Thomas, the second, along in that safety room. Armani Watson, Trevor Denbow are in that on IR as well. Chase McLaughlin, Matt Hawk at kicker and punter. Rigoberto Sanchez is on IR. Nyheim Hines is your punter. Punt returner, kick returner is Isaiah Rodgers. Luke Rhodes is your long snapper. Let's get right to the Jags starting lineup. Okay, for this Jaguars team, Trevor Lawrence scores a quarterback. James Robinson and Travis Etienne on running back, along with Snoop Connor and JaMychal Hasty. Christian Kirk, Marvin Jones Jr. Zay Jones at wide receiver, along with Tim Jones. Jamal Adams, of course, returner. Willie Johnson is on IR. Evan Ingram, Chris Manhurst, and Dan Arnold, tight end, and along with Luke Farrell. Cam Robinson, Ben Barge, Luke Fortner, Brandon Scherf, and Jawan Taylor, along with that offensive line. Florenzo Faticazzi, Devon Hamilton, Roy Robertson Harris on the defensive line, along with Josh Allen, Trayvon Walker, Caleb on Chason, Deshaun Nixon. In that edge rushing group, that Devin Lloyd, Foyce Olukong up the middle with Chad Mamba and Crable Johnson, and Shaquille Quarterman behind them. Secondary-wise, Tyson Campbell, Shaquille Griffin, Darius Williams, Chris Claybrooks, Rayshon Jenkins, and Andre Sisco, and Andrew Winger, and Daniel Thomas, and Tyreek Gillespie, all at the safeties. Jordan Smith is on IR. Special teams, Riley Patterson is your kicker, Logan Thomas is your punter, Jamal Agnew is the super returner, and Ross Matachik is your long snapper. Let's get right to the keys of the game. Okay, for this Colts team, I want them to run the ball with volume in the first half, like a ton of volume. They run the ball enough, I think they can win this game. Don't screw up on third down either. Just screw around on third down. Just run the slant or run the slant/rub combos that beat the Jags last season. That one of the reasons the Jags lost that game to the Colts on the road was literally because those slant and rub combos work so well. I think they'll work it again because they're really short on receivers. And the offensive line needs to create penetration in pass pro for Matt Ryan to step up to in-hit receivers. Obviously, they're going to run the football a lot, but they're going to have to throw the ball at times. I think that's how they're going to really get it done. Colts defense without Shaquille Leonard another week. Bobby O'Cree needs to step up and at a high level in pass coverage again. He did it last week. I think he can do it again. Cover Travis Etienne out of the backfield using a two-level zone. Yeah, he's going to try to torture him. Just don't let it happen. Stack the box in short yardage situations. I mean, you're more physical than them. You better stack the box and just do it. Don't be afraid to leave the corners on islands. The Jags offense doesn't have any crazy receiver. Don't be afraid to do it. Let's get to the Jags. Okay, for this Jags offense, the tackles need to give Trevor 3+ seconds. Just let him sit back there. He can actually drop back instead of having to step up in the pocket. For 3 seconds, they can actually get something done. And he can obviously will step up after that. Utilize both backs and minute size of this is Colts defense. So basically, utilize both backs because the Colts are going to be really decisive because their offense obviously is challenged this week. But if they're really able to use both backs in different ways and really show, oh yeah, this guy probably will be running the football. This guy will probably be catching the ball. The Colts defense can't be as aggressive, and they've got to sit back a little to see what happens. They'll get confused if they keep doing that. Jags defense, though, 3 words, shut down JT. They do that, they should win this game. Well, at least offensively. Defensively. Let's get to the next game, though. Okay, next game, we've got the Commanders and Lions. Commanders, of course, coming off that big win. They go to 1-0. The Lions are, of course, they're coming off tough loss. They're 0-1. It's 1 o'clock on Fox. The Commanders, of course, calling this game is Kenny Albert and Jonathan Hill. Pretty decent. I don't like them at all, but they actually called a pretty decent game last week. But yeah, Commanders and Lions, your game. Let's get right to the Commanders starting lineup. Okay, for the Commanders, you got Carson Wentz starting at quarterback along with Taylor Heineke as his backup along with Sam Howell as well. Brian Robinson's still out with that thing that happened. He's injured. Antonio Gibson, J.D. McKissick, and Jonathan Williams in the backfield. Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, Curtis Samuel, Cam Sims also their receiver. Logan Thomas, John Bates, tight end. Charles Leno Jr., Andrew Norwell, Chase Lurlier, Trey Turner, Sam Cosmi, all on that offensive line. Tyler Larson is out. Wes Schweitzer is questionable. Willie Beavers is on IR. Defensively, Jason Miller will get another start with Chase Young out again. Darian Mathis, I think, is actually out for the season. He's on IR. Jonathan Allen is questionable, of course, with that injury. Daron Payne also there as well. Casey Tuo, Shaq and Tony backing up the 2 starting pass rushers. David Mayo, Jamin Davis, and Cole Holcomb, of course, there. Jonathan Allen is still their backup linebacker. He might not even play, though. Drew White is on IR. Kendall Fuller, William Jackson the third, Benjamin St. Just, Christian Holmes, all in that secondary, along with Cameron Girl, who's questionable, Bobby McCain at safety. Joey Slice, your kicker. Trust is your punter. Dax Maline is your returner, and Cameron Cheeseman is your long snapper. Let's get right to the Lions. Okay. So, now we got the Lions starting the lineup. Jared Goff, projected, obviously. Jared Goff, quarterback. Nate Suffolk is his backup. DeAndre Swift is questionable. Jamal Williams and Craig Reynolds are his backups, along with Justin Jackson. Of course, Jamal Williams is a power back as well. Amon-Ra St. Brown, D.J. Chark, Josh Reynolds, Cleve Raymond at receiver. Quentin Cephas is there as well. Jameson Williams, star recovering for that torn ACL. T.J. Hawkinson, Brock Red at tight end. Shane Zylstra is also there as well. And James Mitchell. James Kabinda is out. Tyler Decker is still there. Jonah Jackson is doubtful. Drew Forrest will probably start. Frank Ragnar is out. Evan Brown might start. But these guys actually aren't that bad. Logan Stenberg, Panay Sewell also on that offensive line. Oliver Vitae and Tommy Kramer are both on IR. Charles Harris, Ali McNeil, and Michael Brockers, 80, John Coffey, also Ryan across the defensive line. Romeo Corey is out, saving with Josh Pascal, and Le'Veon Uzurki is on IR. Malcolm Rodriguez and Alexander Anzalone, Chris Ford also there on that linebacker core. Secondary wise, Amani Oriarway is questionable along with Mike Hughes. Jeff Okuda and Will Harris. Tracy Walker III, Deshaun Elliott, Ifeanyi Mufano is questionable. Juju Hughes also there. Rounding out that secondary, safeties, obviously. Austin Everett is your kicker. Jack Fox is your punter. Cleve Harriman is your returner. And Scott Daly is your long snapper. Let's get right to the keys to the game. Okay, for this Commanders offense, if Carson Wentz can throw the ball out to the numbers like he was able to last week, they'll win. Like, that's simple. I guarantee it. He was amazing out to the numbers last week. Other than that one interception. Run the ball. J.D. McCarthy's out of the gun to blend in the play-action game. I don't think they need to run it good, but if they can at least show they're going to run it with J.D. McCarthy out of the gun, that would really help out a lot. Spread the ball in the early parts of the game to see if the Lions are covering both Terry McLaurin and Logan Thomas. If they really double them both, get the ball to the other guys because they are also very capable. But if one of them's open, start force-feeding them because they're going to make big plays. Commanders defense, get consistent pressure to keep the comfort of Jared Goff at bay because when Jared Goff is comfortable, it's not fun. Force turnovers to make Jared Goff feel like he's overwhelmed. That would be really good. And play 6-7 box to compensate for the lead offensive line that the Lions have. The offensive line of the Lions last week was viciously good. Obviously, it might not be as good this week, of course, with all those injuries, but I still think they're going to be really good. Let's get right to this Lions keys, though. Keys for the Lions offense. I want DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams for 200-plus total yards, rushing yards. They do that big for them. 5 starters still. DeAndre Swift, of course, he is their main producer, right? At least right now. Jared Goff needs to take 3+ shots, either Amon-Ra St. Brown or DJ Chark. He's got to push the ball downfield. I think it's going to be the week they'll be able to do it. Lions defense under 200 yards and 20 points in the first half. They got to at least keep it somewhat close so Jared Goff and the rest of the offense can keep it going. Pressure Wentz and force him to make making a stupid decision. That happens once. Huge momentum boost. Hold your own up front against the power offensive line of the Commanders. They're going to try. That's what they built their offensive line for, run blocking, because that's what they struggled with last year. But if they're able to really hold that at bay, I think it's good. And, of course, blanket the receivers because the receivers of the Commanders are very, very quick, very, very fast. Of course, Terry McLaurin is an exception because he's so very, very good. But blanketing those receivers would really help. They wouldn't be able to get deep on you or really just get over the top whatsoever. That would be really big for them. Let's get right to the next game, though. Yup, our next game, we got the Panthers and Giants. Panthers come in this game at 0-1. Big game for them. Giants, first opening week 1 win since 2016. It's been a while. Game's 1 o'clock on Fox. They're bringing out the number 2 announcer. They got the number 2 team with Joe Davis, Daryl Johnson, and as well they have Pam Aller calling the game. So it's a big game. Of course, it's not nationally televised per se, but the number 2 team's calling this game, so they've got to be ready, obviously. But still, the Giants are really looking to win this game. The Panthers are looking to get back on track against a team they should win, I guess. But yeah, the Giants come off a big game. Saquon looking to keep it going. Okay. We've got the Panthers starting lineup. Baker's a quarterback. P.J. Walker is their backup because Sam Darnold and Matt Corral are both on IR. Christian McCaffrey, Dante Foreman, Drew Hubbard in the backfield. DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, John Smith is questionable. Rashard Higgins, Laviska Shenault Jr., Terrence Marshall Jr. They're also there. Andre Roberts, their star returner, is on IR. That's not great. Ian Thomas, Tommy Tremble at tight end. Giovanni Rossini is fullback. Ikem Mukwano, Michael Jordan, Pat Athlan, Austin Corbett, Taylor Motorcars to that offensive line. Defensively, got Brian Burns, Derek Brown, Matt Ioannidis, Uturgos, Matos, Henry Anderson, Marquise Haynes Jr. Across that edge rushers. Shaq Thompson, Damian Wilson, and Frankie Lavulu, who made a big tackle last week, also there. Brandon Smith, doubtful, so he might not make his NFL debut. Julian Stanford is on IR. Dante Jackson, J.C. Horn, Keith Taylor Jr., C.J. Henderson, all in that cornerback room with Xavier Woods and Jeremy Chin also there in the safety room. Eddie Pinheiro, Johnny Hecker, kicker and punter. James Gonzalez is on IR. Shad Smith will be your punt return, but he is questionable. Drew Hubbard also there, kicker returner. And, of course, like I said, Andre Roberts is on IR. J.J. Jansen is your long snapper. Let's get right to the Giants starting lineup. Okay, for the Giants, Daniel Jones, of course, the quarterbacks. Saquon's there, obviously, along with Matt Breida. Kenny Golladay, Sterling Shepard, Richie James, Kadarius Toney is questionable. Monty Robinson is out. David Stills Jr., Darius Slayton also there. Colin Johnson is on IR. Daniel Bellinger, Tanner Hudson, Chris Myrick, also a tight end. And, well, he's actually a fullback. Andrew Thomas, Ben Bredesen, John Feliciano, Mark Glowinski, and Evan Hill across the offensive line. Nick Gates is out, along with Matt Pert. Marcus Keith McKeon is on IR. Defensively, Aziz Archulari is doubtful, along with Kayvon Thibodeau, who might not probably will make his debut. Elijah Smith is on IR. Dexter Lawrence, Leonard Williams, Nick Williams, Justin Ellis, and Jahan Dotson. Jahad Ward will probably all get playing time. Jahad Ward probably will be your edge rusher as well, along with O'Shane Zimenez. And Tate Crowder, Austin Calatrope, Carter Coughlin, and Micah McFadden up the middle. Darian Beavers is on IR. Secondary-wise, Adoree Jackson is there. Aaron Robinson is out. Darnay Holmes, Cordell Flott also there. Nick McLeod and Jason Pinnock are both out as well. Jason Pinnock and Nick McLeod are both out, along with Aaron Robinson. Rodarius Williams is on IR. When it comes to the kicking game, Julian Levin, Xavier McKinney are also there, and Dave Bowen will probably get to playing time as well. But special teams-wise, you got Graham Gunnell as your kicker. Punter, you got Jamie Gillen. Richie James is your punt returner. Kick returner is Gary Brightwell. And your launch number is Casey Kreider. Let's get right to the keys to the game for this one. Okay, for the Panthers, keys to the game. Panthers offense, I want them to take Xavier McKinney out of the game. Of course, the safety for the Giants, by just not throwing near him because he is their best defensive player. We'll see what they can do against that. Baker can't make any nuclear plays. He made 1 or 2 last week. That's one of the reasons they lost, but obviously he had a pretty decent game. CMC has to be efficient, 5+ yards per carry, 10+ yards per catch. Just that's pretty good. Robbie Anderson, the bomb would probably be nice. And 10+ targets to DJ Moore with Aaron Robinson out. Yeah, he's probably the only guy fast enough to cover him. Make sure they know that. Panthers defense, 7 men in the box to shut down Saquon. I mean, Saquon's going to be their offense, so just remember that. Don't underestimate this Giants' ability to create space for Saquon. They did that tremendously last week. We'll see if they can do it. See if they can actually stop it. Win with speed. Dante Jackson and J.C. Horn need to blanket receivers. That's basically what I mean by that. And Jeremy Chin needs to be all over the field, 10+ tackles, and fly over the field. That happens. Show they can win because they can be a faster team. Let's get to the Giants' keys, though. Okay, for the Giants, if Saquon could repeat, that would be very, very good. O-line needs to be to build off a fantastic run blocking out, and they can do that. Just watch out. Danny Dimes needs to come through in clutch time. He wasn't able to last week. Well, he kind of did. We'll see if he actually can this week. Giants defense drop linebackers left and right to keep Baker from throwing just the short dump offs. That were basically their offense in the second, third quarter versus the Browns. Clobber the receivers as well because yeah, just do that. Yeah, that's kind of what happened for that defense. Let's get to the next game though. Hit that music. Yup, it's the NFL on Fox, week 2. You got the Bucs at 1-0 against the Saints, who are 1-0. Of course, the Saints have won 4 in a row against the Saints against the Bucs in the regular season against Tom Brady. 1 o'clock on Fox, obviously. Kevin Burkhardt, Greg Olsen, Aaron Andrews, and Tom Rinaldi calling this game. First time in a while we've actually seen the number 1 crew on the NFL on Fox, but it's here. Let's go. Let's get right to the Bucs starting lineup. Okay, we got Tom Brady, of course, the quarterback. Blaine Gabbert is back up. Leonard Fournette is questionable, though, with Rashad White and Giovanni Bernard, Keyshawn Vaughn all there as well. Mike Evans is questionable, along with Julio Jones, Russell Gage, and Rashad Perryman. Chris Godwin is out. Scotty Miller, Jalen Darden might not get up to play. Cameron Brake, Kate Owen at tight end. Donovan Smith is doubtful, so Josh Wolves will have to step in. Luke Edeke, Robert Hainsey, and Shaq Mason and Tristan Morris also there, who is questionable as well. Aaron Steeney and Ryan Jensen are both on the IR. Raheem Miggs, Vita Vea, William Golston, Joe Tryon, and yeah, those guys are there. Logan Hall also there. Wasn't he like a second-round pick? Yep, he was. But as well as that, you got Joe Tryon, Shaquille Barrett, Carl Nassib, Anthony Nelson, and Devin White, Lavonte David rounding out that linebacking core and edge rushing group. Jamel Dean, Sean Murphy Bunting, Carlton Davis, Zion McCollum was doubtful. Across that cornerback room with Antoine Smith Jr., Mike Edwards also there as well. Keanu Neal, Logan Ryan are backing them up at safety. Special teams, you got Ryan Succop as your kicker. Punter is Jay Camarada, whatever. Jalen Darden is your punter, returner, kick returner, Rashad White, and long snapper is Zach Schreiner. That is what you got. Let's get right to the Saints starting lineup now. Okay, for the Saints, at quarterback, of course, we got James Winston, who is questionable, though. Andy Dalton there as well. Alvin Kamara is questionable. Mark Ingram and Dwayne Washington. Tony Jones Jr., who I don't think is good, might actually get some playing time. Michael Thomas, Jarvis Landry, Chris Olave and Marcus Keller there as well. K'Wan Baker is suspended, and Traquan Smith is questionable. Adam Trautman, Taysom Hill, tight end, Samuel Jawan Johnson, and Nick Vanette. Adam Prentice is your fullback. James Hurst, Andrews P, Eric McCoy, Cesar Ruiz, Ryan Ramchick across that offensive line. Trevor Penning, and Ethan Greenridge are all on, and Greenidge are all on the IR. Cameron Jordan, Shai Tuttle, David Onyemata, Marcus Davenport, Carol Granderson, Tano Caspian across that defensive line, along with Malcolm Roach, Albert Huggins, both on IR. Pete Warner, Demario Davis, Caden Ellis, all on that linebacking core with DeMarco Jackson, who's on IR. Paulson Debo's out. Bradley Roby is there as well. Alontae Taylor is questionable. Marshall Lattimore, obviously, going to go up against Mike Evans. Tyron Matthew and Marcus May in that secondary, along with Smoke Monday on IR. But yeah, punter Turner. For special teams, you got punter. Kicker. Why do they play kicker? Whatever. Kicker is Will Lutz. Punter is Blake Gillikin, whatever. Your returner is Deontay Hardy, and Zach Wood is the long snapper. Let's get right to the keys of the game. Okay, for this Bucs offense, I want Tom Brady to go for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. Would prove he can actually beat the Saints in the regular season. If he does that and they lose, I don't know what to say. Leonard Fournette, 150 total yards and 2 touchdowns would be great. Mike Evans, 10 plus targets, and not getting clamped by Marshall Lattimore would actually get them to win. But being completely honest, if they just don't throw to the football, I think they actually have a very good shot at winning this game. Bucs defense, don't give up big plays, as the Saints offense hasn't proved they can sustain drives. Yeah, they really haven't so far this year. I do think if they don't give any big plays, who the heck knows? Double MT to take advantage of Chris Olave's inability to block. So basically, if you double MT, you can't really do a lot, being completely honest with you. And take advantage of Chris Olave's inability to block. What I mean by that is, make him go inside. Make him, press him, basically. Make him do that. Do that type of stuff. Let's get right to the Saints' keys, though. Okay, for the Saints offense, run the ball for over 150 yards, 400 yards per carry. They haven't really done that enough. I think they need to get that done today, tomorrow. Alvin Kamara needs to have a huge game. 200 plus total yards, 2 plus touchdowns. Oh, big game, baby. MT and Jarvis Landry need to burn the Bucs underneath. They do that, it's gonna hurt for the Bucs. James Winston needs to have a sense of urgency as the Bucs might get ahead. They really want that to get it because they don't want it to get anything out of control if it happens. Obviously, probably won't. Saints even just do what you do. Stop the run and crush time. That's how they've won the last 4 times. I think that's how they're going to win again. Let's get right to another big game, though. Yup, it's a doubleheader today on CBS, and let's cue on Game 1. Yup, in the NFL on CBS doubleheader NFL CBS Week 2 doubleheader. First game, we got the Patriots at 0-1 going into Pittsburgh at 1-0. Of course, teams look extremely different than the teams they played in the past. Of course, this is one of the best 2000s matchup in the NFL since then. 1 o'clock on CBS. We've got Charles Davis, Evan Washburn. It's the whole crew. We've got ourselves a game. Let's get right to the Patriots starting lineup. Okay, for the Patriots, Mac Jones, of course, is their starter. Damian Harris, Ryan Stevenson there, but Pierre Strong Jr. is questionable. Ty Montgomery, of course, on IR. Taquan Thornton and Christian Wilkerson are also on IR too. Jacoby Myers, Devontae Parker, Nelson Aguilar, Kendrick Bourne round out that wide receiver core with Hunter Henry, Johnny Smith, tight end. Trent Brown's questionable. Close range, David Andrews, Mike Onwenu, Isaiah Wynn round out that offensive line. Defensively, got DJ Weiss Jr., Devon Gotcha, Lawrence Guy, and Christian Barmore along that defensive line. Daniel Abukidi is suspended, and Andrew Stuber on that offensive line is out as well. Matt Judon, Josh Uche, and Anthony Jenkins are in that edge rushing group. Juwan Bentley is starting, but John Devine and Matt Wilson Sr. might step in if Raycon Millen, who is questionable, can't play. Ronnie Perkins, of course, is on IR. Jonathan Jones, Jalen Mills, Marcus Jones, and Miles Bryant all there in that secondary, along with Sean Wade, who is questionable. Jawan Williams is on IR, and Joshua Bledsoe, the safety, is out with Adrian Phillips, also questionable. But you got Kyle Duggar, Devin Gordon, Jabril Peppers there as well. And then you got Nick Foles. Nick Folk is your kicker. Punter is Jake Bailey. Quinn Nordine is out. Jacoby Myers is your punt returner. Kick returner is Kyle Duggar. And Joe Cardona is your long snapper. Ty Montgomery is on IR again as well. Let's get to the Steelers. Okay, for the Steelers, Mitch Trubisky, of course, quarterback. Kenny Pickett, Mason Rudolph also there as well. Najee Harris, Jalen Warren, Benny Snell Jr. at running back. Jeremy McNichols, of course, on IR. Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool, George Pickens, Gunnar Olszewski in the receiving core, Calvin Austin in the third, and Anthony Miller all on IR. How many catches did George Pickens have last week? Only one catch. Never mind. But Pat Fryermuth, the Jags entry, Connor Hayward at tight end, Derek Watcher fullback, Dan Moore Jr., Kevin Dotson, Mason Cole, James Daniels, Chimu Oluokafor across that offensive line. Defensively, got Larry Ogunjobi, Tyson Alualu, Cam Hayward, and then, of course, that's really just about it. Malik Reed, Alex Highsmith, and that's literally their edge rushing group right now. TJ Watt, of course, on IR. Should be back in 6 weeks. I hope he can get back, have a quick and good speedy recovery. Devin Bush, Miles Jack, Robert Flynn, Mark Robinson all going to have to step up in that linebacking core. Then you got Kelly Withers from Cam Sutton, Arthur Mallett, and Levi Wallace all there. In that secondary, along with Terrell Edmonds, Micah Fitzpatrick, DeMonte Casey, Carlin Platel, and Carl Joseph all on IR. Chris Boswell is your kicker. Presley Harvin the third is your punter. Gunnar Olszewski is your returner. And Christian Kuntz is your long snapper. Let's get right to the keys of the game. Okay, for the Patriots offense, 35 plus rushing attempts. Mac Jones, quick package, Kendrick Bourne, and Jacoby Myers. They do that. I do think they actually have a good shot. But play action into the tight ends gives him cushion to hold. Let Mac Jones hold the ball a little longer because he's that type of quarterback who is better than. And take advantage of Micah Fitzpatrick's aggressive tendencies. He might even be more aggressive against the Patriots, but that's what Bill Belichick does. Exploits very good players' weaknesses. That's one way to do it. Patriots defense, 4 plus sacks. That would really be good. Matt Judon needs to have 10 plus pressures. He's got to be a superstar. Blow up the run in the first quarter, just showing that it just ain't going to happen. Just let him know you're not going to run the football. And Jalen Mills on Deontay Johnson because he's the type of corner who can cover him. Not like they're both pretty athletic, but they both have very good feet and very, very good ball skills. Of course, that's what Jalen Mills is a little bit known for. We'll see what he can do there. Let's get to the Steelers' keys, though. Okay, for the Steelers offense, 20 plus points and 35 plus minutes possession will be very good. It's okay to punt. It's what will get them in better situation with that defense. Mitch needs to help sustain drives with his legs. It's how they're going to get a lot of first downs and points. And on outbreaking routes, Mitch needs to throw to the sideline, limit the skill of the Pats corners. Pats corners are going to be really all over the field. They're going to really just try to destroy them. That's one way to do it. Limit any big nuclear plays by getting on those outbreaking routes is towards the sideline, not towards the middle of the field. Steelers defense, 3 plus turnovers. That would be very big, and under 10 points would give them a win. I guarantee that. Like, there's no way the Steelers offense can be that bad. Let's get to the next game, though. Okay, getting into the later games. First game, we got the Rams my Rams are hosting the Falcons. Both teams scores at 0-1. Rams looking to bounce back after an embarrassing loss, don't put it that way, to the Bills. But yeah, the Falcons coming in this game, of course, choking a big lead. 27-26 was the final, and there, of course, Rams lost 31-10. But either way, it's 4:05 on Fox. We've got Kevin Kugler, Mark Sanchez, and Laura Oakland calling that game. But yeah, it should be a pretty decent one. Let's get right into the Falcons starting lineup. Okay, for the Falcons, of course, Mariota started, Desmond Ridder right behind him, Cordell Patterson, Avery Williams, Tyler Algier in that running game. Drake London, Olave Zaccheaus, Brian Edwards at the receiving position. Calvin Ridley, of course, suspended for the whole season. Kyle Pitts, Parker Hesse, and Andrew Ferkser, Felipe Franks, Anthony Ferkser, but Felipe Franks is tight end, whatever. At tight end, Keith Smith is the fullback, Jake Matthews, Elijah Wilkinson, Drew Dahlman, Chris Lindstrom, Caleb McGarrett across that offensive line, Jalen Mayfield is on IR. Defensively, you got Taquan Krim, Anthony Rush, Grady Jarrett across the defensive line with Vincent Taylor and Marlon Davidson both on IR. On the Kungbo, Ogundenji is their number 1 passer along with Arnold Ibikidi, Lorenzo Carter, and Quentin Bell. Michael Walker, Rashawn Evans also there as well, but yeah, on the Kungbo, Ogundenji did not have a sack last week. Deion Jones is on IR, obviously. AJ Terrell, Mike Ford, D. Alford, Casey Hayward. Who is D. Alford? I just don't know who he is. Whatever. Jalen Hawkins, Richie Grant Jr., and Eric Harrison as well. Isaiah Oliver's on IR. Young Hoku, Bradley is your kicker. Punter is Bradley Pinion. Avery Williams is the returner, and Liam McLaughlin is the long snapper. Bew Brinkley is on IR. Let's get right to the Rams. Okay, for the Rams, Matt Stafford, of course, is quarterback. John Wolford is his backup. Darrell Henderson, Cam Akers, Jake Funk at running back. Kyron Williams, of course, on IR. Cooper Kupp, Allen Robinson, Ben Scarona, Tutu Atwell, and Lance McCutcheon, and Brandon Powell, of course, also there as well. Van Jefferson's out another week with that knee injury. Tyler Higbee and Bryson Hopkins at tight end. Joe Nope is questionable. A.J. Jackson might have to start. David Edwards is there. Brian Allen is out. Cole Michon will start at tight end. There's Tremaine Ankrum, probably get his first start ever. Rob Havenstein at right tackle, of course, Logan Bruss. The Rams' number 1 draft choice is on IR, 3rd round pick, though. Asian Robinson, Greg Gaines, Aaron Donald there as well. Bobby Brown III is suspended. Leonard Floyd's questionable though, so Keir Thomas, Terrell Lewis will have to step up most likely with Justin Hollins there as well. They'll have to do it anyway, but yeah. Ernest Jones, Bobby Wagner there as well. Trayvon Howard is out this week. Daniel Hardy on IR. Troy Hill, Robert Rochelle, David Long Jr., Jalen Ramsey, Taylor Rapp, Nick Scott, Jordan Fuller, and Terrell Burgess rounded the secondary. Quentin Lake is out. And special teams, you got kicker is Matt Gay, punter is Riley Dixon, Brandon Powell is the Rams returner, and Matthew Orzik, who is questionable, is their long snapper. Let's go right to the keys of the game. Okay, for this Falcons offense, run the ball like you did last week. That would be very advantageous. And Marcus needs to be able to extend plays with his arm and his leg. Quick throws would go a long way as well. So, no offense, their offensive line is far worse than the Rams' front seven. I'm just being completely honest. And they're not even close to as fast as the Rams are. Talent-wise, they're just not there. But the way they're going to win is by just being able to run the ball like they did last week. I don't know how, but if they're able to do it, good job. And Marcus Mariota needs to be able to butcher them with their legs. And he needs to use his arm throwing on the run. That's how they're going to win this game. At least offensively. Falcons defense, though, blow up the run pressure. Matt Stafford with four rushers consistently. I mean, 4 rushers consistency would be huge, but blowing up the run would be even bigger. That's how they're going to really limit this Rams offense. Let's get to the Rams, though. Okay, for the Rams offense, 200 plus rushing yards and 5 plus yards per carry would be very, very advantageous. Like, they need that. And the O-line needs to pick up stunts better. They they need to. The zone blocking needs to contain edge rushers. I think they can. It's just the fact that they need to. 10 plus targets to Allen Robinson would be very, they should do that because he's good. Like, I'm getting frustrated. Rams defense, press the corners to give Marcus Mariota the intermediate depth of the field and force him to make hard throws. That's what you get with him. He's gonna have to make. If he can't, he's got to show he can make those throws. If he can, then we'll just sit back. Leonard Floyd needs to finish. Don't just get pressure. Of course, he's gonna get pressure if he plays, but if he can finish, that would be very big. Let's get to the next game, though. Okay, our next game is the Seattle Seahawks heading to San Francisco against the 0-1 49ers. We're really looking to say that last week was an absolute fluke because the Seahawks come in this game saying last week was not a fluke. It's 4:05 on Fox as well. We've got Adam Amin, Mark Schlereth, and Lindsey Zarniak on the call, so I think their third team's calling this one. So it should be a pretty good game in expectation, but we'll see what happens. Let's get right to the Seahawks projected starting lineup. For the Seahawks offense, Geno Smith is their quarterback, Drew Lock, of course, the backup. Sean Penny, Kenneth Walker, Travis Homer in the backfield along with TJ Dallas. Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, Marcus Goodwin at the receiver position. Cody Thompson is on IR. Noah Fant at tight end. Samuel Will Disley, Nick Bellores at fullbackers. Charles Cross, Damian Lewis, Austin Bites, Gabe Jackson, Abraham Lucas on the offensive line. Defensively, you got Shelby Harris, Al Woods, Poona Ford, Darrell Taylor, Uchenna Nwosu, Boye Mafe, Daryl Johnson, all on the edge rushers. Jordan Brooks, Cody Barton, Nick Bellore on the inside linebackers. But Allen Robinson, LJ Collier, Tyreek Smith are all on IR. John Radigan is out, and same thing with Bangor Curvin. Defense, and then the secondary, Justin Coleman, Joey Blau are both out. Artie Burns is questionable. Mike Jackson, Tariq Woolen will start. Xavier Crawford, Sidney Jones, the fourth there as well. Trey Brown is out. Josh Jones, Quandre Diggs, Ryan Neal there as well. This defense is it's a mess right now because Jamal Adams, the best player on this team, you could argue, is out for this season. So that's just not good. But special teams, you got Jason Myers, Michael Dixon is your punter. Of course, Jason Myers is the kicker. T. Eskridge is punter returner. Kick returner is DJ Dallas. And Carson Tinker is on this is the long snapper. Of course, the really good long snapper, Tyler Ott, is on the IR. Let's get right to the 49ers, though. For the Niners, Trey Lance is the quarterback. Jimmy Garoppolo, of course, the backup. He actually might start if Trey Lance is awful, which might actually happen. Jeff Wilson Jr., Jordan Mason, Tyron Davis-Pierce there as well. Elijah Mitchell is out for like 4 or 5 weeks, I think. He's on the IR. Deebo, Brandon Ayuk, Juwan Jennings, all at the wide receiver position. George Kittle's questionable. Tyler Croft is there as well. Kyle Juszczyk is their fullback. Trey Williams, Aaron Banks, Jake Brendel, Spencer Burford, and Mike McGlinchey across that offensive line. Dana Brunskill's out. Defensively, got Samson Ebukam, Nick Bosa, Charles Omenihu, Drake Jackson off the edge. Kerry Hyder there as well. Kerry Hyder Jr. Why do I think he had a sack last week? He did have 1.5. What did I say? Well, that was last year. Never mind. Javon Kinlaw, Eric Armstead there as well. Khalil Davis is out. Murray Church, Jordan Willis, both on IR. Linebacker, you got Dre Greenlaw, Fred Warner, and Aziz Al-Shire. Curtis Robinson is on IR. Secondary-wise, you got Amanda Mosley, Samuel Womack the third. Avery Thomas, Travaris were there as well. Tamu Funga, Tayshaun Gibson Sr., Jimmy Ward first on IR, and Jason Verrett is out. Special teams got kickers, Robbie Gould, punters, Mr. Stanowski, who had a nice fat 4-year, $13 million deal for punting duties. Turner is Ray Ray McLeod III, and your long snapper is Tabor Pepper. Let's get right to the keys of the game. Okay, for the Seahawks, for the Seahawks, 10 plus yard runs. So basically, first down runs. If they can get 10 plus of those on one carry, that would be huge. And of course, keep up the efficiency in the passing game. I don't know if they have so much of a chance, but if they can do that, it's fine. Seahawks defense, without Jamal, the corners need to be able to play man-to-man on Juwan Jennings and Brandon Ayuk. Forget Deebo Samuel. If they can just do that, I think they have somewhat of a building block, I guess. Let's get to the 49ers. Okay, for the 49ers offense, 2 plus rushing yards, they got to do it every week. Deebo Kittle, 20 plus total targets / touches, whatever. It's kind of weird. They just got to get him the ball. Trey Lance has to sit back and hit the check down. Just relax, because last week he looked like he was about to explode with how much stress he was under. But if he can just say, just relax, Trey, you're fine. He does that, I think they have a good shot. 49ers defense obliterate Geno Smith and contain Lockett and Metcalf. That's literally the only way they're going to lose if Lockett and Metcalf absolutely just beat them by themselves. Obliterate Geno Smith, though, that would really help as well. Just show that this pass rush is still there. Let's get to the next game. Okay, now we've got the next game. We've got the Texans, who are 0-1, going into Denver, the Broncos, who are 0-1. It's part of the CBS doubleheader, but it's not it's not the national game. 4:25 on CBS. Who's calling this game? Well, let's see. We've got we've got Andrew Catalon, James Lofton. Maybe Amanda Bellione's calling that game. I'm not for sure, but it's the Indian girl. I forgot her name. Whatever. Aditi. Yeah, Aditi's calling that game as well. Yeah, that's 4:25 game on CBS. Texans versus Broncos. Let's get right to Texans starting line. Okay, for the Texans, of course, Davis Mills is starting. Kyle Allen is his backup. David Pierce, Rex Burkhead, Darrell Ogunbowale at running back. Darius Anderson is on IR. Brandon Cooks, Nico Collins, Chris Moore at the wide receiver position. Farrah Brown, Brevin Jordan, who's questionable, and O.J. Howard there as well. Tegan Quintariano is on IR. Troy Hairston is at fullback. Wait, did he have 2 touchdowns last week? Yeah, he did. What did I say? Whatever. Laramie Tunsil, Justin McCray. Justin Britt is out. Scott Questenberry is probably going to start. Well, he will. AJ Khan, Titus Howard, also there as well. Maybe Kenya Green will actually start. Who knows? Defensively, though, Jonathan Grenard, Jerry Hughes, Obanai Okoronkwo, Rasheem Green at the edge position. Of course, Jerry Hughes, big game last week. Malik Collins, Roy Lopez up the middle. Merrill Addison and Derek Rivers both on IR. Campbell Grugier-Hill, Christian Kirksey, and Kevin Pierre-Louis across the linebacking core. Steven Nelson, Derek Stingley Jr., Isaac Yiadom, Desmond King the second in the secondary, along with Jonathan Owens, Jalen Petrie, MJ Stewart, Eric Murray in that safety room. Taveri Thomas and Kendall Sheffield both on IR. Clammy Fairbairn's the kicker. The punter is Cameron Johnson. Punt returner is Desmond King the second, and kicker returner is Trayman Smith. Long snapper is John Weeks. Let's get right to the Broncos. Okay, for the Broncos, they got Russ starting, obviously. Bear Evan is his backup. Javonte Williams, Melvin Gordon, Mike Boone, Demir Crockett is on IR. Cortland Sutton, Jerry Judy, and Montrell Washington across that wide receiver core with KJ Hamler, who's out. Albert Okwuegbunam, Eric Tomlinson, both at tight end. Andrew Beck is your fullback. Garrett Poles, Dylan Reisner, Will Cushenberry the third. Quinn Miners is out. Cameron Fleming there as well, so Graham Glasnow will probably step in. Billy Turner is questionable. Tom Compton is out. Nateen Mucci is questionable. Casey Tucker is on IR. Defensively, got Draymond Jones, DJ Jones. And they got Deshaun Williams, who's questionable. So, Emunia Ujowarke, or Warke, I can't even say his name, probably will start. Randy Gregory is questionable. Josie Jewell's questionable as well. Alex Singleton and Bradley Chip across the linebacker core. Nick Benito, Baron Browning helping out in that edge rushing group. Christian Allen, Michael Ojeminga, and Justin Simmons all in the IR. What is Justin Simmons' injury anyway? Quadriceps, 4 weeks. That's just not good. Patrick Tan, Ronald Darby, Demir Mathis, and Darius Phillips across that cornerback room. Kareem Jackson and Caden Stearns, who is probably making his first start there as well. When it comes to kicker, you got Brandon McManus. Punter is Carlos Waitman, and your returner is Montrell Washington, and Jacob Moyer is your long snapper. KJ Hamler is out. Let's get right to the keys of the game. Okay, for this Texans team, Texans offense takes shots. The Brandon Cooks off the run game worked last week. See what it does this week. Davis Mills needs to use the screens as a way to take pressure away from the short pass game because really that's kind of they relied on that a lot last week. They don't want to have to do that again. Texans defense though, pressure Russ, of course, under 50% red zone efficiency. One of the reasons the Seattle Seahawks won last week. 2+ turnovers, under 25 minutes of possession time would really help this offense get things going and really keep this defense that isn't the greatest off the field. Let's get to the Broncos though. Okay, with the Broncos offense, more boots and rollouts take advantage of this suspect coverage of the Texans. Like, that's just common sense. I mean, the Texans aren't going to be, like, elite covering players, and those boots and rollouts really are good for Russell Wilson. In Broncos defense, Chubb and Gregory need to actually both get pressure. It was really just Bradley Chubb last week. Gregory has to do something. If he doesn't play, then that just doesn't work out, obviously. Patriots needs to be more physical. It wasn't that last week. And 4+ sacks / turnovers combined would absolutely get them the win. Let's get to the other team. Let's get to the next game, though. All right, our next game, we've got the Cardinals, who, of course, are 0-1, going into Las Vegas, also 0-1. This game's, of course, 4:25 on CBS. We look at the Week 2 announcers, though. Greg Gumbel, Adam Archuleta, and I think... who else would it be? I'm not sure. Who would be the other person for this? All you need to know is, yeah, that's the game, and yeah, that's kind of really it. Maybe, I don't know who's calling this game. The silentness. Anyway, let's get right into the Cardinals starting roster. Okay, so basically, back on the, it's, AJ Ross is with Greg Gumbel and Adam Archuleta. Either way, Cardinals roster, of course, Kyler is their starting QB. Trace McSorley is their backup. Cole McCoy's on IR. DeAndre Hopkins is suspended. Andy Isabella is out, but still Marquise Brown, AJ Green, as well as that Rondell Moore is out. So Greg Dortch, Andre Pacello will probably be out there as well. And Eno Smith, Darrell Williams, and Jonathan Moore will probably get a lot of carries out of the backfield. Zach Ertz and Max Williams, of course, a tight end. Gigi Humphreys is there as well. Justin Pugh is questionable. Max Garcia is behind him, though. Ron Hansen, Will Hernandez, Calvin Beachum also there. Joshua Miles, Cody Ford, Marquise Hayes, and Cody Ford are in the IR. Defensively, J.J. Watt is questionable, so Michael Dodgeby might step up there. Leaky Fotu, Zach Allen also there as well. Victor Dingenji, Dennis Gardick, what is it called? Marcus Golden, Cameron Thomas there as well. Stephen Collins, Isaiah Simmons up the middle. Ezekiel Turner, Nick Vigil as the backups. Also got Byron Murphy Jr., Marco Wilson, Buda Baker, Jalen Thompson is questionable. Trayvon Mullen is questionable as well. Antonio Hamilton is out. Charles Washington and Tate Daly are both in the IR. Matt Prater's a kicker. Andy Lee's your punter. Punter Turner is Greg Dortch. Kicker returner is Eno Benjamin. Long snapper is Aaron Brewer. Of course, Ronnie Moore out. Let's get right to the Raiders starting lineup now. Okay, now for Vegas, Derek Carr, of course, a quarterback. Josh Jacobs, Bryn Bolden, who is questionable, who is actually doubtful. Amir Abdullah, Samir White, also there as well. Devontae Adams on a run from Matt Collins. And Tyron Johnson and Keelan Cole at the receiver position. DJ Turner's on IR. Darren Waller, Foster Moreau at tight end. Of course, Jesper Horsted, also there as well. Jakob Johnson at fullback. Colin Miller, John Simpson. Andre James is out, so I don't know who that's going to play center. Lester Cotton Sr. and Jeremy Alumnor also there as well. Brandon Parker's on the IR. Defensively, Max Crosby, Chandler Jones, Cleveland Farrell, Taysom Bauer rounded out that edge group along with Andrew Billings, Billy Nichols, John Hankins up the middle. Jordan Jenkins is also on IR. Divine Diablo, Jan Brown, Denzel Perryman is out, so Darian Butler will step in up. Of course, with their backup, Micah Kaiser being on IR, it's going to be a little weak there. But in the secondary, you got Rocky Yassin, Nate Hobbs, Sam Webb, and Amik Robertson there as well. Anthony Averett on the IR. Jonathan Abram, Trayvon Mulrig is out. So Deron Harmon and Roderick Teamer also there as well. Special teams wise, you got, of course, Daniel Carnes and his kicker. Punter is AJ Cole. Hunter Fisher, punter Turner. Kicker Turner is Amir Abdullah. Trent Sieg is the long snapper. And DJ Turner, like I said again, is on IR. Let's get to the keys to the game. Okay, now for the Cardinals. I said offensively score on the first drive of the game. They weren't able to develop that's last week. That's one of the reasons they just got absolutely blown out. Then start using the running game to slow down the Raiders' offense. That's really, the Raiders' offense is just going to score a lot of points if they're not able to do that. And Kyler Murray needs to come through along with his homework, because I know he was doing his homework. Actually playing off too. Cardinals defense though, Marcus Golden needs to be the guy. 10 plus tackles, 5 plus Steve Ells, 2 plus sacks, 1 plus forced turnovers. That sounds insane, but I bet he could do it. Byron Murphy needs to shut down Devontae Adams with help from Budda Baker and Isaiah Simmons. If he can get a little pitching from them and he can be that main guy against Devontae Adams, who knows if they can win. Let's get to the Raiders keys though. Cavaliers Raiders offense consistently get the ball to Darren Waller and Devontae Adams. They couldn't do that last week when they used the loss. Hunter Renfrow needs to be able to run longer routes to assure Derek Carr that he's actually open, because last week he kind of got tricked there a couple times. Derek Carr cannot force the ball into tight windows, as the Cardinals will pick it off because they just will. I'm calling it. And then for the Raiders defense, be aggressive on third down, obviously, because the Cardinals offense don't have as many receiving touches as they usually do. Take advantage of that. Limit big plays because, again, that offense is just not as good as it usually is. You got to really limit those big plays. That would really be good. Incompletions over turnovers. They don't need to be super duper aggressive, like I said, on third down. It would be very nice, but incompletions over turnovers, that's what I value here. Let's get to the big game, though. Oh, yeah, it's the Bengals going into Dallas. Oh, yeah, we got the 0-1 Bengals going into Dallas, who's also 0-1. Of course, they don't have Dak Prescott. This is the NFL on CBS doubleheader game, too. It's at 4:25, also on CBS. Tony Romo, Tracy Wolfson, Jimmy Nance, Tony Romo, Tracy Wolfson have the call for this one. It's a big game, of course. Maybe it's what we expected, but it should be a very good game. Like I said, 4:25 on CBS. It's the NFL on CBS doubleheader game, too. The national game, the game of the week. I would definitely tune into it. And tomorrow for the Bengals, Joe Burrow, of course, the quarterback. Right now is his backup. Joe Mixon, Shamazi Perine, Chris Evans, and Trayvon Williams are running back. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, who's special, Tyler Boyd, Mike Thomas, Trent Taylor, Stanley Morgan, all there as well. Hayden Hurst, Drew Sample, and Devin Asiasi, he's questionable. Jonah Williams, Cordell Volson, Ted Karras, Alex Capel, Leo Collins on the offensive line. Desmond Noel, Isaiah Prince, and Ben Brown are all on the IR. Defensively, Sam Hubbard, Trey Anderson, Cam Stable, Joseph Osai off the edge. Josh Tapu is Tapau, I don't even know. He's questionable, but DJ Reader, BJ Hope always at the middle. Keel Kareem is on IR. Joe Bacci is out. Logan Wilson, Jermaine Pratt, Akeem Davis Gaither, all linebackers. With Eli Apple, Jadobi Awuzie, Mike Hill, and Trey Flowers rounding out that secondary with Brandon Wilson, who's out. Tracy Sanders is not IR. Gabe Taylor Britt is on IR as well. Von Mel and Jesse Bates in the third are in that secondary. And here-wise, you got Evan McPherson, Kevin Huber is the punter. Trent Taylor is the punt returner. Kick returner is Chris Evans. Clark Harris, of course, at the long snapper position, but he's on IR. So they'll have to figure that out. Let's get right to the Cowboys, though. Of course, for Dallas, Cooper Rush is the guy. Now Dak Prescott is out. Will Greer is the backup. Zeke, Tony Pollard was a running back. CeeDee Lamb, Noah Brown, Dennis Houston, Semi Foco, Jalen Tolbert. All those guys are going to step up. Of course, Michael Gallup out. Dalton Schultz, Jake Ferguson, they got to do a lot, too. Tyler Smith there as well. Connor McGovern is out, so Matt Flournoy probably have to step up. Zach Martin, Tyler Biadasz, and Terrence Steele are also all there as well. Tyron Smith, of course, on IR, and same thing with Ian Bunting, James Washington also on IR. Defensively, DeMarcus Lawrence, Lawrence Armstrong, Chauncey Golston, and Sam Williams. Behind at the edge group, Ozo Ozubinga and Quinton Bonana also there as well. Tryson Hill and Neville Gallimore were their backups. Terrell Basham is on the IR, and same thing with Devontae Bond. You got Anthony Barr, LVE, and Mike Parsons in that linebacking core with Damone Clark also out. Anthony Brown, Trevon Diggs, Jordan Lewis, Nation Wright, all there as well. And that secondary with Jaron Kearse, who is out. So Malik Hooker probably going to start, and Donovan Wilson a free safety. Isaac Taylor Stewart is on IR, and defensive, and Britt Myers, the kicker again, back there. Brian Anger is punter. Kamate Turbin is the returner, and Jake McQuaid is the long snapper. Let's get right to the keys of the game. Okay, for this Bengals offense, I really just want them don't turn over the football. I think if they don't turn it over, they should win because, again, their offense is just so much better than the Cowboys is right now. Bengals defense, stack the box, number one. They're gonna run the football. Just make sure they can't do that. Set the edge because that's one thing they actually could get away with even if they stack the box. And no big plays. Playing an offense that just isn't as good as they usually are, and it's they should realistically struggle. So don't give any big plays to compensate for that. Or offset that. Let's get to the Cowboys keys though. Okay, the Cowboys are going to win this game with 250-plus rushing yards, 5-plus rushing touchdowns, which seems insane, but I think they could probably do it somehow. 6-plus yards per carry would absolutely be good as well, but Cowboys defensively, no big plays and absolutely no botch coverage against Jamar Chase. under 20 points too. So if their offense can run the football like this, and their defense doesn't give up any big plays whatsoever, and under 20 points as well, you never really know. But yeah, I think this will be a tough game for the Cowboys. You never really know though. Let's get to the Sunday Night Football keys to the game though. Maybe this will be a repeat of the NFL kickoff Sunday Night Football game. Who knows? Alright, so the reason I brought that up, of course, welcome to the Sunday Night Football preview, keys to the game as well. We got the 1-0 Bears going into Green Bay. Of course, they're all in one, but, like, it's 8:20 on NBC. What is it called? Mike Tirico, Chris Collinsworth, Melissa Starr for this one. But obviously, Bears are heavily outfavored. They're not supposed to win this game because it's in Lambeau. But if you remember back in 2018, these two teams met. It was a big comeback. I think we were down by like 10 or something, whatever. Aaron Rodgers came back and won the game. And then in 2019, an opening night kickoff, it was an absolute stinker. I think the Packers won 10-3 in that game. But yeah, we'll make it mixed feelings for this one. But I'd say it's gonna be a big blowout. But whatever. Let's get to the Bears starting lineup though. And, of course, for the Bears, the quarterback, they've got Justin Fields going out there. Trevor Siemian's his backup. David Montgomery, Khalil Herbert, Treston Ebner there as well. Darnell Mooney, Quinton St. Brown, Dante Patterson, receiver. Byron Pringles there as well. Velus Jones Jr., another week is doubtful. And N'Keal Harry, of course, on IR. Cole Kmet, Ryan Griffin, at tight end. Kyrie Boston, at fullback. Braxton Jones is the left tackle. Cody Whitehair, Sam Mustipher, Tevin Jenkins, Larry Borum is there as well. Doug Kramer's on IR, and Alex Leatherwood's out. Defensively, Alquan Mohamed, Robert Quinn, Travis Gibson, and Dominique Robertson round out that edge group, along with Angelo Blackson, Justin Jones, Matthew Adams, Roquan Smith, Nicholas Moreau across that linebacking core. Javen White is out. Jalen Johnson, Kyler Gordon, Lamar Jackson, Kendall Vildor, all out of that secondary group, along with Jaquan Brisker and Eddie Jackson, the safety. Michael Joseph is also on IR. Special teams-wise, Kerr Santos is their kicker. Trenton Gill is their punter. Velus Jones Jr., of course, doubtful at punt returner, so Amir Smith-Marset might get a chance there. Khalil Herbert, kick returner. And Patrick Scales is their long snapper. Let's get right to the Packers, though. Kevin Packers, Aaron Rodgers, of course, the quarterback. Jordan Love is his backup. Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon, Patrick Steele are all there as well. Kyle Hinton was out. Alan Lazard's questionable another week, so Christian Watson, Romeo Dobbs will both have stuff again, which they weren't able to last week. Sammy Watkins, Rhino Cobb there as well. Robert Tonyan, Josiah DeGuara at tight end. David Bakhtiari and John Runyon and Elkin Jenkins are all questionable. Josh Myers, Royce Newman there as well. Yash Nijman as the backup there, I guess you can call him that. Dean Lally, Jaron Reed, Kenny Clark also there. Devontae Wyatt also the backup there. We got Preston Smith, Rashawn Gary off the edge. Kingsley Enigbor and Jonathan Garvin are there as well. Devontae Campbell, Cody Walker at the middle. Chris Barnes is on the IR. And Isaiah McDuffie's there as well. Jair Alexander got toasted last week. Eric Stokes, Rasul Douglas, Shamir Smith, Gene Charles there as well. Adrian Amos, Darnell Savage's safeties. Vernon Scott is on IR. Max Crosby, Max Crosby, your kicker. Gabe Brick, yeah, I think that is his name, or Brickick, is on IR. Pat O'Donnell's the punter. Amari Rogers is the returner, and Jack Coco is the long snapper. Let's get right to the keys of the game, though. Okay, for this Bears offense in the keys to the game, continue to use the backside of the back. I think that worked really well last week. 10 plus rush plays, scores first down run plays. 4 plus big plays, 40 plus yards. I don't think you can see in any sort of drive. Justin Fields has to go for over 300 pass yards. I think he did it last time they played. They got blown out. Let's see if they can do it and they actually compete this time. Bears defense, pressure Aaron like it worked last week with Vikings. And dare the receivers to make plays because they want those guys to have to make plays. Because if they can't, if they force them to and they can't, it's really good. Let's get to the Packers, though. Okay, with the Packers offense, target on Christian Watson more. I know that seems kind of crazy, but he was getting open. And make sure they're quick throws as well, because quick throws to Christian Watson will really get him into a rhythm, and then maybe you can take shots downfield to him. Robert Tonyan, 100% receiving yards, because I think he's the only for sure receiver on that team. Even then, not really. Packers defense, just don't give up 70 points and you'll win, because they're obviously a better team. Yeah, that's really it for the keys of the game, though. Let's get right to the wrap-up. Of course, 12 games on today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, though. Like and subscribe, and see you in the next one. Yeah.
Their first drive of the second half. Begins with Elliott breaking it into the secondary, and it's a foot race, and he will not be touched.
60-yard sprint.